What's up, everyone? Like many of you, the first Incredibles movie is not only my favorite Pixar movie of all time, it's actually one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. So after 14 years of waiting, there's obviously a ton of excitement about Incredibles 2. Well, I saw it last night, and I've got some spoiler-free stuff to say about it. But first, this episode is brought to you by Alliance Heroes of the Spire. Alliance is a classic for a reason, as it combines the best of the top RPGs you've ever played into one crazy fun mobile game. I mean, with 10,000 different hero combinations, real-time PvP, and crazy giant bosses, Alliance really puts your skills to the test. And those never-ending hero combinations and massive guild battles also mean you have to work for your wins. So what else do you need? Click our link in the description below to download Alliance and get 50,000 gold and 50 gems for free on us. Have fun and support Variant at the same time. Can't beat it. Now, as I mentioned, this review is going to be spoiler-free, but I will get into all the spoiler talk on Monday's Variant Live. Anyway, right off the bat, if you love the first Incredibles, I can't see how you won't love and enjoy this one. It's a ton of fun and one of the funniest movies I've seen in a while. The dynamic that Pixar/Disney and writer-director Brad Bird was able to create with this franchise is golden. What I think made the first Incredibles movie so great was the character development and the dynamic of this superhero family who's trying to fit into a world that no longer wants supers, which I'm sure almost all of you know is the franchise's term for superheroes. And this movie directly picks up from where the last movie left off. So that sense of struggle with the Incredibles trying to live in a world that just wants them to be normal is very much still there. And to go a little further without giving spoilers, the plot stems from that, and it makes for a great story. Speaking of story, the fact that this movie picks up directly where the last one left off is one of the coolest things about this movie. So if you watch the first one and then watch this one, it'll just feel like one long movie. Which is another reason I enjoyed it so much, because it basically felt like the first movie didn't end and there was just another 2 hours left we didn't see. As for the characters, again, they didn't change anything, so you will love them just as much as you did the first time around. Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, Dash, Violet, Jack-Jack, Edna Mode, and Frozone are all still great. But I will say Jack-Jack easily steals the show in this movie. He's the baby Groot of this movie and the one everyone will be talking about. There's one scene in particular with him, I about died from laughter. Everyone in this movie is really good and funny, but Jack-Jack, Edna Mode, and Dash easily make for the most laughs. But besides the laughs, this movie has tons of action and it's epic. Obviously, since it's 14 years later, technology has advanced quite a bit, so the animation and action sequences they're able to do look fantastic. For instance, Elastigirl has this really cool chase scene and the action is just nuts. As for the villain of this movie, Screenslaver, overall I liked him, but it brings me to my one complaint. I felt like the reveal of who Screenslaver was a little obvious, but at the same time this is a kids movie so I can't harp on that too much. But again, it did bother me as I thought Syndrome from the first movie was way better. But to look at the positive, the motivation of Screenslaver I thought was great. But again, that's the only real complaint I have for this movie, because overall it was a blast. It definitely is a movie you should take your family to see, whether you have kids or if you're 30 like me and have been waiting for the sequel since you were 14. I liked the story of the first one a little more and thought Syndrome was the better villain. And it was just fun being introduced to this world for the first time, so I'm sure some of my nostalgia is playing a factor there. But again, Incredibles 2 is an incredible sequel and gives us everything we loved about these characters the first time around, as well as introducing some new supers that are pretty cool. So if the first Incredibles is a 10, which I personally think it is, I give Incredibles 2 a solid 9 out of 10. But that's going to bring another episode of Variant to a close, but remember the link to download Alliance Heroes of the Spire is in the description below, so support the cause and play a fun game. Other than that, remember to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and check out our website. All the links for that is in the description below. And if you like the show, be sure to subscribe and then hit the bell next to it so you're notified whenever we upload a new video. But I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.